Dead Space for NextGenWalkthroughs.com. Oh, in case you didn't recognize that intro music that I've been using, it's John Carpenter's Halloween theme. Some pretty spooky shit. I thought it set the tone for the guide pretty well.
Yeah. Monster closets.
Oh yeah, monster closet. Term. Stealing that from the 1UP show. It's yeah. If you don't already watch, or wait, 1UP show is the video. The 1UP Yours is the podcast.
Yeah. The podcast.
If anybody doesn't listen or watch those shows, highly recommend it. They're hilarious. They're very informative. They're very smart people. Definitely check those out at 1up.com. Best podcast. The only podcast I listen to definitely every week. And they were talking about this game, saying how it's pretty much just a monster closet where you get stuck in this tiny little environment and monsters are running at you and you have nowhere to run, which is true in a lot of cases, but still, like the flickering lights and a lot of different aspects of the game I thought were, pretty cool.
Yeah.
One thing they also talked about was how this game feels like it's a combination of about 5 other different games, and I couldn't agree more. Like the first time I was playing through this, it's if I had to say like a couple games, I would say BioShock, Doom,
the Resident Evil camera.
Yeah, the Resident Evil camera. It's got shit written in blood on the walls, like Portal. What else? I don't know, but it takes the best from a bunch of different games, which is a good thing.
Oh yeah, they're calling it like a greatest hits.
Yeah, it's a
now
greatest...
this is what I call a survival horror game.
That's what they said, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. And it definitely is, but they do it well, and it doesn't... Oh, and it's like 2001, the movie. 2001, A Space Odyssey. It's got some kind of sci-fi aspects from that. So you're back to the original room where your team got ambushed. You're going back out to the ship that you landed on at the very start. Got to get a damage report or something like that. And now that you're back in this original room, you can stomp some of those green Xboxes that you ran past the very first time. In the first video, which I did not voice over because it felt kind of like a tutorial cutscene. Not necessarily anything that needed to be voiced over. Oh, there's also an achievement for using the gravity gun on a little statue that's in the causeway to my right, but you don't have the gravity gun yet, so you can't get it until you come back to this level in like chapter 8 or chapter 12 or whichever chapter it is that you come back here.
But I'm sure you'll note that when we get to it.
I'll make a video of it. So you run back in here. If you didn't already, there's a med kit and one of the side doors. Pick that up if you skip that when you first came, or when the game started and when it first gave you control of your character. Now, I wish it did more things like this in the game. This was fucking awesome. How it very seamlessly integrated basically a cutscene with gameplay. Like, it completely took control of my character right there, made him dive out of the ship and like knocked him to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't have that loading screen, and it didn't
have just fucking real player scenes. Quick time events.
Yeah, no quick time events, no loading, no pre-rendered nonsense. Like, I don't know, like Final Fantasy X. That's like the epitome of pre-rendered gameplay cutscenes versus actual gameplay cutscenes.
The thing was, though,
those that looked awesome.
I loved those.
Oh, they looked so fucking cool. But then, as soon as you come out of that, you're like, oh, look at this fucking cat shit that I'm looking at.
Yeah. Especially, like, all the games back then. I remember my Dreamcast, like, Dino Crisis would have these badass cutscenes, and then...
I've heard so much about that game, I've never played it.
Oh, there's like 3 of them.
Yeah, I know. I'm not about to go back now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention this. In case you were watching this guide and aren't actually playing it for the first time, or I don't know, in case you didn't know, the secondary fire on the plasma cutter turns the direction of the 3 plasma cutters. So instead of firing vertically, you press right bumper.
And it fires horizontally?
Right, and it changes the direction of the 3.
Depending on what limb you want to cut off?
Right, so then if you're trying to cut off someone's legs, you can turn it to fire horizontally, so it's easier to cut off their legs than like an arm, say.
Right.
Now, right bumper is stomp, but it's also secondary fire when you're holding down left trigger to aim your gun out. So keep that in mind, I guess.
Maybe we should edit out the elevators, man.
Oh, that's another thing I liked about this game. They did the loading elevators like they did in Mass Effect.
Instead of loading screens.
It's much right, exactly. But it's much better disguised in this game than it is in Mass Effect. So what I did in the store here, I sold a bunch of extra med kits I had. I bought the level 2 suit. Throughout the game, you have to pick up new schematics off the ground to unlock the new level suits. But level 2 suit comes default preloaded into the store. And I also bought a bunch of extra ammo for my plasma cutter. Now, the new level suit doesn't give you any extra health, but it does give you extra armor, which I would assume reduces the amount of damage you take, so indirectly it gives you more health.
And you look like $1 million now.
Oh, I look like
every girl's crazy about a sharp-dressed man.
Yep. Oh, this game's a combination of Half-Life, too, because this guy never talks.
Ah.
Yeah, so got
Gordon
a little bit
Freeman.
of Half-Life. Yep. Scientist nerdo.
Yeah.